Hello, everyone. This is Travis. Welcome to Frantic Purpose. And I'm happy to say I got some feedback from my last episode, which is great. Thank you. And if anyone else wants to comment or tell me how they're enjoying or not enjoying the podcast, really let me know. I love to hear from you either way. Thank you to anyone who commented. It's the first time ever, and it's nice to get specifically Battle Buddies, the podcast, reached out. Thank you for letting me know how you felt about the episode. It's super encouraging, and um, check out Battle Buddies if you want. A really cool account of just war history, conflict history, and more. So they just break down stuff and analyze. It's a lot of fun. Um, Anywho, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I'm trying to like every time I get into this, I never know where to start. I have like something, but at this point, I don't know. I've talked about most things. Like last week was a big one. Last episode was a big one, and I'd like to report that even though it's been a short amount of time, that things are moving in a positive way, and that's good in my relationship with my wife. So that's great. And I'll always put in that time and effort with Amanda because I believe that we can truly both know each other in a way that we can both be really vulnerable but also feel safe. And that's like the tip of the mountain for me. Like if I could get that, if we could both get in that same spot where we both are just like, yes, this is it. This is our warm, comfy place. If the zombie apocalypse is happening, Travis is coming for me. Like all of these inevitable and very true statements. I want the love to be undeniable in both of our hearts. And that's what I want to work toward. Maybe I'm a romantic. Sure, I am. I always have been. And I that just sounds so good to me. You know what I mean? Come on, like killing it. I mean, we're already like pretty cool, you know. But like within our core, the engine, the workings of our relationship, there's some big things that Amanda needs to take on her own, and she is. So that's really cool, and I'm here to support her, and we're gonna have a great Patrick's Day weekend. And what's funny is I think I might be the only person in my family who's taken our Irish English history seriously because we do have a bunch of it. Like we're very, as my dad says and likes to say, we're blue bloods. We are very much Irish English in a big way. So I kind of took ownership of St. Patrick's Day back in my early 20s, even before. I mean, like, um, I'm going to admit to drinking underage, and, it might be true. Maybe I'm lying. And around like 1920 is when I started really taking ownership. I had two other Irish, you know, families, and it was the first time that we went over to the same house full of with a bunch of you know people with Irish heritage, and we had Guinness, and we went total had a proper St. Patrick's Day. My best friend mooned me. It's funny. It was fun, and it felt great, and felt great to feel like I had a history to celebrate. So St. Patrick's Day for me has become a day where I make a traditional Irish meal, and I've done this for years. I mean, at this point, 20, what? It's so weird getting older. Let's see. I mean, how I don't know, 15 years. uh, yeah, 15 years. I think. Yeah, that's it. 15 years. And I love creating that family environment, and also the point of St. Patrick's Day for me is just going over everything you love, remembering people who have passed, and also allowing yourself to really just relax and appreciate the people have passed and people are living, and the great experiences you've been through. So it should be held with close family, and I've done that the whole time. So I am excited for St. Patrick's Day, mostly because it's also very like truly Irish. I went to Dublin um, a while ago now. I think it must have been 2014 or so. And I wanted to go because one of my ancestors actually built the maternity hospital in Dublin, which is still there. And I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the bronze bust, and I did. And it was excellent. And it turns out the Irish are, how kind of like how St. Patrick's Day is. They want to go out and curate a buzz, sing, laugh, and appreciate each other. And I'm like, this is great. What a great time. So it's been a lot of fun to have it be meaningful just because I kind of just chose it. I was like, I'm going to adopt this. And in my family moving forward, if we have kids, then they're going to see meaning in St. Patrick's Day too. And that's cool to me. I love tradition. It's just like excuses to get together and have a great time. So that's fun. Um, Secondly, or just like kind of off, I just this came up in my head. Me and Amanda thought of this fun thing where, and oh man, I don't know if I can tell you because the idea I have for this item, it has to do with barbecue. It's called the midnight brisket. So I came up with this recipe and also this kind of ritual called the midnight brisket. And you start the midnight brisket at midnight and then you finish it, 8 hours or so later, and then you make, and don't tell anyone because I don't know if people do this, but you make brisket waffles, brisket and waffles, and with some like barbecue sauce, like that, a more syrupy, but you can make a really curated like sauce to go on that waffle. But I can't. I mean, how is that not great? I've never seen it before, so it probably exists because humanity has been around, but it just sounds like a great idea. And the midnight brisket would be you start the cook, and then you see the sunrise. You have the brisket and the waffles, and you could like load it up with whatever you want. It just sounded like a fun thing. I love making that kind of like ritual, like traditional. It's just fun. What else do we got to do? So I just imagine being at Amanda's parents' house in the backyard with they have like a pop-up tent and just grilling for from midnight to 8 in the morning, getting a little silly, telling stories, and that just sounds magical to me. Anywho, I feel like the past, I tend to talk about growth, personal growth in a big way throughout my whole life. If you are in my circle, unfortunately for you, how close you are to me determines the likelihood of you falling into the gravity of wanting me or to analyze and help you, or ending up in a place where you're challenged enough to notice how you can be helped. Like it's just I don't even have to do anything. And this happens to like people, just random people in bars will just be like the gravity, they're like woo, and they like end up right by me, and then before I know it we're talking about this thing that ails them. And I love workshopping that kind of thing with people. It's it's so vulnerable, and I'm so flattered that people really feel comfortable saying it to me. And they, of course, rightfully so, they're correct. The vibes they're getting or the feelings they're getting. I've helped a lot of people through a lot of complex emotional holes. And I'm very proud of that because people deserve to be heard. And I think a lot of people want to be listened to, and I want to listen. So it's rare. Most people don't want to listen to people, and you could tell who they are almost immediately when talking to them. It's unfortunate. Like people who ask the canned questions and they don't dig deeper. Hey, how are you? How's your job? and then they go on about what they want to talk about. Like, it's almost if those canned questions are like, I'm feeling this requirement, I'm feeling this requirement, I'm feeling this requirement, and they don't really like wait to listen to the next thing, and then just dive into what they want to talk about, and it's fine. People I've noticed are, um, I think the default for humans is a healthy bit of selfishness, which is, I think, it's something I had to like bolt on to myself. I grew up thinking I'm this, like pointless, useless piece of trash. So then I had to realize, oh wait, no, I'm not. I could be selfish a little bit, I'd not be a jerk, but selfish enough to be like, it'd be nice to go watch a game at a bar by myself and just stare at the game and just like let myself zen out, like doing stuff for me. My big brother and his wife both are very good at this kind of thing. Like I'm without like dipping a toe into like it affects people negatively, because you can be selfish enough to where it affects people negatively, and you could also be like blissfully unaware. So I don't know how I ended up on this, but yeah, people just want to be heard. And you know what? I am okay hearing about it, because in the end, I do care and it does matter, and I love to listen and I love to workshop stuff, and I have no inclination to let anyone into my soul unless they're my wife or they expressly show interest. Even it's no one wants to go in there, So it is interesting. Um, Even for you, if you're listening, how much do you listen to people? Like, being considerate of others, I find, isn't something a lot of people are. I am chronically considerate, not to the point where I can't make choices or anything, but I am considerate, and I enjoy being considerate. Ugh. And sorry for the burps, but I guess if I was going to challenge you to do anything, and I like to put challenges out because you're listening, and I want to give you actionable stuff. Like, do you listen to people? Like, do you care to dive deeper? Do you accept people at face value? Probably. Probably you're just someone who thinks that the face value may be the truth. But I think people who like take in the face value, that's just like slang for it's it's too much. you know. I don't want to know. I can't believe that someone on the planet could exist and think that, oh yeah, surface level stuff. It's all true. Um, it's usually just a nice, cozy version of someone that is acceptable to society, And then if you get a little deeper, you're like, hey, let's get some drinks. And then you dive a little deeper. And then you find out, hey, this person has a lot of depth. The depth is where the good, the good stuff is. And I love it. I love taking time to find people out, but most people don't love it. And I'm like, why? Why is that? It's like super fun, and it's also like I'm happy to share too. If someone literally if anybody asks me basically any question, my policy for myself is I'm going to tell you. And if it's heavy, if you're like knocking on a door that's heavy, I'm going to be like, this is a heavy door. Like, are you sure you want to go this way? And they're like, yeah. Then I'll hit them with it. You know, I hit Grams with, not physically, I didn't punch her. I'm just kidding. No. Me and Amanda were at dinner with Grams, and I was making dinner for those two and myself. And then I hit her with like all the relationship stuff that me and Amanda were going through after London. And why? Because I think honesty saves everyone time. You know, I don't like it is so loud to me to be in a room, and it's so easy for me to pick up. I'm People have called me a, what is it called when you're like an emotional, like, what is it, a something path, not an emo path, uh a, oh God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Someone who can just pick up on vibes. And I'm totally that guy. I know my mom is that woman too. You know, I know Kai, my little brother, can also like pick up that stuff. And in our family, we're always picking that stuff up and we're always saying stuff about it. And oh man, people do not like having their stuff blown up, like their very weak defenses blown up. And I don't want to. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. But for you, the listener, you gotta, like, if you can, have someone audit your life for you. How do you perceive me? Check in with your significant others. And this is kind of interesting. So, after the military and after I came back from Denver, I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't have any more friends unless there was value in the relationship. Because I have a tendency to give to people I care about. And when I care about someone, it's in a big way. All of me, you get, like, I will try and bless your day just because you're one of my people. I want to listen. I want to be there for your successes. I want to be there for your deepest sadness. And I want to be a part of the bricks that build you up. Because that's awesome. And, like, who are you in that? Where's your value? What do you offer to the people who are closest to you? If you're a father, you have an incredible opportunity to shape the future through it's actual, like, 100%, like me and Amanda were talking about being parents. And also, like, if I was able to become a stay-at-home dad, I would love it. And Amanda was like, why? And I'm like, because literally, I think, you could delete most businesses on the planet and we would be fine. It doesn't, who cares? Who cares? Like, you don't know where I work. And if they shut their doors, it wouldn't affect you. So many things exist that could just fall off the face of the earth and no one would care. And you know what? That is not your child. That's not your children. Those children, will survive because, let's face it, there are a lot of kids that survive like some pretty screwed up scenarios. So, like, if you could feed your kid, clothe them, wipe their butt or whatever, then, and you could be like an okay parent, you're not throwing them in lakes or whatever, even though some people do, they're very durable. So most likely, if you have a child and odds and probability dictate that it's probably healthy in America, and also that if it's healthy, you probably have the means to take care of it. And if you don't, we have some government programs that help, whatever. All that to say, that child, no matter what you do, will ripple out into the future beyond you. How you grow that child will ripple into the future. And that's crazy. If you delete that child, there would be an incredible impact on the future. Like, its path to what it would have done would be halted. The potential, the unknown and raw potential of children is incredible. It is absolutely bonkers. Like, you have straight, and I'm full evil, right? You have Hitler. One person who had parents and grew up to be himself. That is how big of an impact your child can have. And I also like to joke that, like, I could be giving, or I can be making a baby that with, and Amanda could be, the workshop, whatever. The baby comes out and I've now created the thing that'll kill me, because some people are murdered by their children, which is crazy. But it's one of those very unique things. So I'm like, yeah, if I get the chance to put all of my significant time and effort and assets into children that are mine, that's arguably the most important thing on the planet, because you have an opportunity to make, like, people like vote and like do all this stuff, like recycle, and it's like the biggest thing you could do is configure your children right, and that takes an unheard of amount of effort. I'm not a parent at all, but witnessing and just being a general, like, person who likes to do research, like, holy crap, incredibly difficult, makes the marriage in some cases even harder. It is a dynamic scenario for sure that'll change your entire life. 100%. Most of the time, you know, I don't know. I Do you get what I'm saying? Like, being a stay at home dad, I'm like, yeah, I'd kill it. I'd love it. No part of me would sleep on it. I would cook the best meals. The house would be clean as, you know, very clean. The kids and I, well, we go on adventures all the time. I do all the chores. It's like, get out of town. I would have like my own plan, my own like agile tile, like plans, grooming plan, the columns like that shows the levels of projects that are being, like, I just get into it. It is a job, and it's, I think, the most important job on the planet, because it ushers in the future. You are absolutely affecting the future. And that's crazy. And it's also a representation of you. You have an opportunity to configure this child to the best of your ability. Because even, like, if you got two into it, maybe that'd be -2. It's crazy. But do I want that challenge? Oh yeah. This whole the whole, like, world, like, shifting into, is being a parent like cool or not? Like, back in the day, it was, they knew how important it was. And now it's like, for my entire lifetime, it's like society has been pivoting to, like, maybe it's okay to be a little, like, go back to work maybe, and then, like, maybe just get a nanny, or if you can't do that, get a whatever you can, being a parent, you'll be there probably, but it's like the benefit of being a stay-at-home parent. And if you're staying at home and you're actually making that time work for you, and you're working in things that will actually, like developmental stuff, you can have an impact on your kids in the hugest way. And people just, I don't feel like they get it, you know. And maybe it's just cuz they're lazy. I don't know. But I'm not saying these kids need to be me. I am saying that you could give them all the tools. You could develop critical thinking. You could help them conceptualize things and talk even before they go to school. And then if you're just involved and you're excited, like, I was so lucky growing up because my mom always wanted to talk. She still wants to talk, and I do too. And so, on the topic of stay-at-home parents, I'm like, dude, awesome, great. I would happily do it. And then Amanda, but it is what it is. It also has to be what makes sense to both of the people in the relationship. And that's something we're talking about now. It's like, we don't have time to really kind of sit around and not have kids. The more we wait, the less likely we are to have kids in general. And I don't know. I honestly don't feel any crushing pressure, because I got to be honest with you. Even though I've always wanted kids and wanted to be a father, if I don't have kids, it just means I get to save money and, like, essentially be the most awesome uncle and aunt ever, and be generous and bless people's lives, because, let's face it, kids cost an incredible amount of money, and we live in San Francisco, which is very expensive, which is stupid. I don't know. It's crazy. kids, life. I am, at this point today was the first time in a while that I'm like, man, I feel really peaceful. I feel really nice, and I attribute that to um, just being in my routine. I I've finally started losing weight, and guess what it was? Okay, if you're out there and you're like, I want to lose weight, let me tell you, you can. And not only can you do it through Ozempic, which is like the cheat code easy way that who knows how it'll affect people long term. I don't know, but hey, we know some people who are doing it. It works for them. They drink less, whatever. I don't know, and all of that is good. I just am suspicious of like long term tests. What does taking Ozempic for the rest of your life do? Because I'm pretty sure you once you stop, all the cravings come back, which isn't a solution. It's just kind of like you're not learning how to to teach yourself to not do it. You're taking a supplement that makes you not want to do it. So you become dependent on Ozempic, which if you're okay with that, go for it. And if you want to do it the old fashioned way, like your boy Travis and also Amanda's on board, I'm going to tell you it is. I'm going to give you the schedule, okay? It is not easy because losing weight is uncomfortable. You have to be focused. You have to change your relationship with food, which is something that me and Amanda have talked about. You can't be eating because you want to eat. You have to be eating because you're hungry. And you may think, I always eat because I'm hungry. You don't. You eat because it's like the time you're supposed to eat. Like for a while, it's like I go in and like I don't know what hungry felt like. Like, and so, anyways, cut to the chase, Travis. How do I get thinner? One, it is hard. Period. Because Monday through Friday at about 5 p.m. Okay, so your dieting schedule is Monday through Friday until 5. After 5 p.m. to the end of Sunday are cheat days. And that's up to you. So, Monday through Friday till 5 p.m., do not eat any bread or tortillas at all. No, nothing like that. It could be a complex carb, but even then, get away from those. I am literally boiling chicken and vegetables. And sometimes I make a soup with those two. Sometimes I just like roast the vegetables. I don't, but the goal is to keep it pure. In the morning, I have 2 hard-boiled eggs. In the afternoon, I have the option of eating if I feel genuinely hungry. Sometimes I don't, but if I do, I have a couple slices of deli turkey. Just a few to you know, calm the feeling of hunger. Also, protein is good. And then my dinner is a boiled chicken breast with vegetables. You do not snack. You do not eat anything that tastes phenomenal. Period. That means you know what it means. You that's it. That is your diet. And your first instinct is probably like that sounds terrible. But it isn't. You know what's crazy? Like I've been doing this diet now. This is my second week doing it, and I have lost 7 pounds. I also work out from 4 to 7 days a week, depending on how work goes and how it lines up. I sauna every time I work out. And honestly, that's how you do it. And whether or not you succeed is up to you. like I focus, and I had a conversation with one of the guys who I work with. They asked about, what's the most difficult thing to say no to? And I'm like, literally all of it. I, like when I go into the office for work, I, sorry, hold on. When I go into the office for work, they have a 7-Eleven of snacks, like just free food. Also, they provide lunch, and I have to say no to all of that unless it is within the restraints of it has to be meat with very little sauce or vegetables or both, and that's it. So, saying no is hard, but I get through it because I want to feel skinny. I want to feel my body taking from my stored fat, and that feeling is hunger. Like you can feel, like you start to feel your body thin out, and by no means people would be like, I'd starve or whatever, but it's not true, dude. That is yourself tricking yourself because you just love eating. And you know what? I do too. I can, like, if I could eat Philly cheesesteaks every single day, every single meal, I would. If I could just like let myself order whatever I wanted, eat whatever I wanted all the time, great. But you know what? Screw that because that's not the life I want. I don't want to. That's like your addiction owning you. If you can't say no to food and eat when you're hungry, which is essentially what I'm doing, I'm also not eating bread because bread makes you fat. Period. It does, and I love bread. It turns into sugar. It's not like bread has been used throughout time because it is caloric and it keeps you alive. Potatoes are great. Those are actually fine to use as long as it's a meager amount of potatoes, but it's really just that. Bread makes you fat. Stop eating bread from Monday to Friday until 5 p.m. And then on the weekend, if you want to go crazy a couple times, like go crazy. Like last week, at the end of the week, was the end of my first week at work. And I'm like, Travis, I know what we're going to do. We're going to buy a good whiskey. We're going to listen to records. We're going to relax. We're going to order whatever we want for food. You have earned it, my man. And it's so much better to earn these things. Of course, I'm an adult. I have means. I could generally buy whatever food I want. I don't have to do this, but I want to because I don't want to be owned by something I do. I want to always be able to say no. And if I could say no and boil chicken and boil, vegetables for most of the week, I'm good. That is hard. And also work out as well. And also be proficient and go to bed and like have a healthy schedule. That is hard. You could do it. Like if you're sitting there, you're overweight. Like you could be the only one in the room. It doesn't matter. You know you are. You know the state of where you're at. You also, somewhere in you, know what needs to be fixed and what needs to be paid attention to. I'm huge into maintenance. That's like my whole life. I love maintenance. So I know what I need to succeed. I did not mean to rhyme there. So, what do you need? Do you want to lose weight and feel healthy and feel ownership of your life? Or do you want to be a slave to binging content and or not working out and or eating crappy food when you haven't earned it? You know, your body, when it's getting like raw, like the Whole Foods, not the store, but Whole Foods, like boiled chicken breast and vegetables and all these good things and drinking water and like feeling good. You just feel good. And odds are, if you're overweight and you're binging content and that's most of your day every day, other than work, or maybe you don't work, I don't know. We as a community spend so much time sedentary. and it is alarming. It is also, there are studies that support that sedentary lifestyle will kill you very fast. Heart problems, etc. Like the benefit of walking every day or having a good rigorous fitness maintenance schedule is massive. Like, do you want to live a long life? That's what I ask myself. I'm like, I want to do everything I can. And of course, the back, the darker voice in the back of my head is like, well, you could just get fucking, sorry, I swore. You could just get cancer and die. And I'm like, it doesn't matter though, because I want to be doing it right. And if I get wiped out by some bogus, thing like that, that's how it's going to be. But I don't want it to be because I'm being consumed by some addiction, you know, to content, to food, to a substance, to myself, Like I don't know. But I challenge you. If you're listening to this and you have goals you are actively ignoring, use this as the time to do it. We're ending the week. Start on Monday. Start on Monday by not allowing yourself to eat anything crappy. Maybe just start there, you know? And you may, and watch out because you're going to try and justify yourself and like putting lots of, like, it's a salad, but you put like 1,000 calories of sauce on it, Like, we all know what healthy food tastes like. It is not the best, even though I do think, and I'm shocked by, boiled chicken is actually pretty good. You know, it's tender. You just do the internal temperature to 165, and then I allow, it's lightly seasoned, so it's tasty and it's tender and it's good, man. That's good. And the vegetables, good. And then also making those choices are so good, you know. And you'll feel good doing it. And before you know it, especially if, depending on how overweight you are, like I remember when I was helping my friend Wolcott lose weight and get faster so that he can pass the physical test in the military. He lost weight and he started feeling better. And you see it. And I trained a lot of people on it. You see it every single time. I helped one of my friends lose 30 pounds. It took like a month, Like, it is not hard. And it's not hard to do in a healthy way. And how I'm doing it is great. So there's your framework, ladies and gentlemen. If you have something you want to do, and specifically you want to lose weight, do what I'm doing. And it'll be hard. You'll not want to do it. You won't want to do it. You never want to do stuff that actually helps you. You never want to quit. Like, if you have a drinking problem, you never want to quit drinking. You want to kind of like believe that you have a handle on it. But like in reality, everyone knows what they have issues with and what is their, you know, the monkey on their back or whatever. Like, I know I can't have candy in the house, essentially. It's something that I'm trying to get a handle on. Or snacks. But recently I've had both in the house, and I've had the restraint to not eat them until it is appropriate to eat them, or I've earned that right to eat them. And because I love food. But I don't know, guys. Come on. Getting to know yourself. It's a journey. And it's totally worth it. Um excuse me. Totally worth it. We're coming up on 40 minutes here. And I just want to say again, hopefully, it's so funny getting good feedback. It really, I hope that this is also enjoyable. I come into this thing with levels of excitement, and the more excited I am about a topic, the more I want to talk. And today it was fun. It's fun. I enjoy doing this. So Um, if you have any questions about like art and how to get into art shows and or try to get your stuff out there, I'm good for those questions. Please make comments with stuff you might have questions about what I talk about. I don't know. It's really fun to hear from you. So I think I'm good. Have a great weekend. Um, have a great St. Patrick's Day. And if you're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, be responsible, but also remember we're all celebrating together. And remember to have a great time and relax and also celebrate life because life is excellent and it gets even more excellent as you learn how to take more from it. You know, it seems so obvious, like Travis. We eat the best food whenever we want, right? That's what we've been like. It seems like we should want these things. These are the easiest things. They may be the easiest things and they may have the quickest, like, dopamine hit or like feel good feeling, but they are not the things you should be reaching for. They are the easiest and they're the things that will kill you. Literally. The more you eat crappy, the more you allow yourself to get hammered every day, or the more you allow yourself to just keep spending money with no cap for no reason, the less control you have, the less quality life you lead, which is why you see a lot of people who are famously eccentric, famously have no caps on what they did, die early because all those things are just, I just imagine them as monsters disguised that are trying to kill you slowly. Like I just see these dark beasts, they're wolves in sheep's clothing, you know. Have one more cheeseburger, you earned it, or have this, have that, you earned it, you earned it. Like, and it's not that America's doing us any favors. It's also encouraging binge culture. Everything is telling you to indulge. And indulging costs money, which is something that most people have enough to indulge. We all have enough, and maybe we'll even go into debt for stuff we want. But none of that will make you feel purpose. Temporarily, maybe. You know, if you spend enough money on enough fun experiences, you'll start to feel like a rock star. But before you know it, if you don't have that infrastructure, or even if you do, you will be dead or in a worse spot, and you'll just keep digging that hole. And that's a bummer, you know. It's much better to at the end of the week, even you really know that's a benefit of boiling chicken and vegetables, is you really know what you want to eat at the end of that week. You know, most people it's like I don't know what I want to eat. What do you want to eat? I don't know. I don't know. If you don't know what you want to eat, then you're eating too much. Sorry. That means like you're just swimming in it. Join me. Join me in the boiled chicken, boiled vegetables, super like okay tasting sustenance. You know, take control. Anyways, have a great weekend. Love you guys. I don't know who's listening. I know maybe two people are, maybe three. Amanda's home, I think. So I gotta stop. Bye.